I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. Make it stop. Hello, class. I love Fallout New Vegas. A lot. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of those games that I can just replay through hundreds and hundreds of times without getting burned out from it, which is a feeling that doesn't happen with other games. Nowadays, I play a game one time and I'm already sick and fucking tired of it. And as much as I'd love to sit here and talk about Fallout New Vegas and all of its amazing aspects and how it is arguably the best Fallout game, and by arguably I mean factually, there is no fucking debate in this. I do not care what take you have on the situation, Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game. However, I'm not here to talk about that. Maybe in some other video, but today I am going to be discussing the amount of pain that modding this game has given me, and the amount of love I have for the modding community. But first, let's fill you in about Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas was released in 2010 in 18 months. That's obviously a very quick time. It was a game that came out very fast due to Obsidian being rushed to publish the game sooner. So it turns out Obsidian knew they were in for 18 months. They were not rushed, my apologies, I got that wrong. Which led to some content being cut and perhaps not as perfected as Obsidian wished it would have been. For a 2010 game, it plays incredibly well, but you can tell that it's an old game. It plays like an old game, and that's not necessarily bad. The way the game plays fits the game perfectly, but you can tell it's old. And along with the outdated graphics and mechanics, also comes outdated scripting. And this is very important because before I mention how annoying it can be to mod this game, I want to mention the incredible things this community has done to facilitate modding. And with that, we flip to the next page of our textbooks, please, page 32. As mentioned, Fallout New Vegas' scripting and game engine are very old and outdated, and they don't exactly have the functions you'd want from a game engine nowadays. But that has not stopped the community. A member of the community created the New Vegas Script Extender, a plugin that pretty much just hooks into the game engine and allows it to do many more things. After that came X New Vegas Script Extender, a community maintained version that's what most mods use right now. And more things spawned out of that, like K New Vegas Script Extender, which is an animation plugin that allows you to create some really nice and fluid animations. Or JIPLN New Vegas Script Extender, which adds over 900 functions to the game engine. This game and this community are like zombies, or like the courier from Fallout New Vegas. No matter what you do, they just come back from the grave. It's beautiful the dedication that the Fallout New Vegas community has and how hard they try to keep the game alive. I barely scratched the surface on the amount of plugins that exist for the New Vegas Script Extender that allow for countless things to be done. I just mentioned the ones I'm most familiar with. But I can't just mention the plugins to New Vegas Script Extender. Let's talk about actual mods. You have retextures of the world, mechanics from modern shooters being added into Fallout New Vegas like sprinting and a button hotkey for grenades. New maps, new weapons, new stories. You have an infinitude of things that people have made for New Vegas. Just look at incredibly ambitious projects like New California and The Frontier, or Fallout Revelation Blues, which hasn't come out yet. All incredibly ambitious projects that all are very interesting in their own ways. Though we will get back to The Frontier when I'm talking about the gripes I have with the community, which, funnily enough, is the next part of this video. Please flip to the next page. Before I get into the actual gripes and problems that I have with the community, let's speak about the problems I have with modding. Oh my fucking god, the things I have suffered to get certain mods properly working. Don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware that I may have overmodded the game and done things that you shouldn't do, but Jesus Christ. I have spent more hours with the mod manager open trying to figure out what is causing conflict and issues than actually playing the game, and I have played this game for a couple of years, so that fucking says something. The problem with having such an old game with such a lively modding community is that at some point people will abandon their mods because they move on. You can't stay attached to a game for 12 years. Or you could, but that'd be really obsessive. So many mods that at the time were considered revolutionary are just dated and incompatible with almost everything else nowadays. And even if the mods aren't dated, sometimes you need to open software yourself and patch things between two mods if they have conflicting items, or you have to Google in forums to find patches. That sometimes will be in the weirdest of places. I found a mod to do with power armors that was in a forum about sex. Or something horny. I'm not sure if it was directly sex, it could have been hentai or something, but it was something very horny. And since we're talking about horny, let's talk about the problems with this community. So many of you are really horny. I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But they make no attempt in keeping it to themselves. When there's a thing such as Deathclaws being sexualized in a big Fallout mod, then I think it's time to take a chill pill. And that's just one of the horny incidents that has happened in this community. Big number of them actually relating back to the Frontier, a mod I mentioned previously and one that I think perfectly embodies the duality of the community. Fallout the Frontier was an incredibly ambitious mod that had a ton of new, really cool mechanics. Mechanically, it was a masterpiece. The story might not be the best, but it's hard to write a story. I'm not here to judge that. Maybe some other day I'll judge that. The Frontier is proof that this community can create very good things and keep this very old game alive for centuries to come. But this mod on release was so fucking horny. From Deathclaw pussy, as mentioned before, to having a slave with very sexual connotations that is barely 18, it embodied the wrong and the horny. Now, of course, most of that content has been removed for obvious reasons, but it's still weird that it was there. Not to mention there are a lot of dedicated horny mods for Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, that don't even hide that they are horny on the Nexus mod page. And fuck it, I respect it, at least they're honest and they don't hide their intentions, but it's still fucking weird. In conclusion, I will admit, this community can be kinda freaky, and it has had its weird incidents and moments, but I believe joining the community is worthwhile either way. A big majority of the modding community is insanely kind and helpful. I wouldn't let the outliers ruin what is an amazing group of people. And yes, modding Fallout New Vegas can be an experience of pure pain like no other, but if you can let the fire inside you burn brighter than the fire coming from your laptop after trying to run all of those, you will have a gaming experience like no other. Once again, I would like to shout out fellow students, Ari and Lily/Anhi, for their usual help in these videos. In the next video, I will be discussing the divide of the playership in Minecraft and the duality of the player. Thank you for coming to this class, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Much love, and have a good evening.